Hi there, everybody. Welcome to another album review. My name is Christian Eschbach.
Hey everyone, this is me doing a cut in at the very beginning because right off the bat, I called the album by the wrong name and I didn't want to re record the entire review for that. So, in this particular review, I am talking about Avantasia's Ghostlights, and I accidentally kept calling it Gaslights. I know I did it right in the very beginning, so I cut that out, put this intro in instead. I'm not sure if I continue to make the same mistake throughout, so if I do, I'm sorry I screwed up, but this is Avantasia's Ghostlights. Before I get into anything else with this album, first off, if you're one of my regular viewers, you're going to notice that there's been a run of Avantasia. That's because there's a new album coming out, and I'm trying to get all the back catalog done before the new album comes out. Moving ahead from there, it took me a while to figure out what it was about this album that sounded a little off. And I couldn't quite figure it out. And I've mentioned before in previous Avantasia albums, and I'll mention it again, that they always seem to be off by like 5 or 10 years from when they actually would have done really well or been popular. And in this particular case with this album, it makes me think a lot of him, H.I.M., His Infernal Majesty, some people know it as. Villavello. His group there, and probably said that wrong. Anyways, where I'm going with that is this album reminds me a lot of him and love metal. There's one song on here I'm going to get into in particular that really made me think about it. But the whole way around, this album, like, the one thing I like about Avantasia is every album has a bit of a different vibe to it, a different feel to it. This one, well, musically reminds me a lot of him with the love metal. It also really throws me back to the last album from the band. Give me a second here. I just gotta pop this up real fast. Okay, so the last album I covered technically. So if I remember correctly, I went out of sequence with the postings. I did Lost in Space first, and then Mystery of Time second. Lost in Space, absolutely loved. Mystery in Time was alright, didn't do too much for me. But going back even further, which I've already covered, Angel of Babylon. I mixed this one in Angel of Babylon up. I had this one in the CD player in the house, went to go grab it, take it out to the car with me while I was driving. And I grabbed Angel of Babylon by accident. And I didn't realize it because Angel of Babylon has such a similar vibe and format to it that it took me about halfway through the album before I went, oh, I already did this album. This is the wrong album. And Mystery of Time, I broke out of that a little bit. Like, to me, this really kind of is a step backwards. Musically, it's going back about 10 years from when it would have been popular, and overall theme and vibe and whatnot, you know, it's going back 6 years to an album they already did. There are more songs on here I probably enjoy than I enjoy off of the Angel of Babylon album. Let's just get into the songs. All right, the album opens up with "Mystery of a Blood Red Rose," which is okay. Let the Storm Descend Upon You, I actually thought was really good. My only complaint is it is 12 minutes and it does get a little bit repetitive, but otherwise, I actually enjoy it. The Haunting, because of how long Let the Storm Descend Upon You is and how long the next song is, the haunting coming in at under 5 minutes just kind of disappears in the mix for me. It's one of those blink and you'll miss it kind of songs that's sandwiched between two really decent songs. And the next song, Seduction of Decay, is really, really good, actually. Really enjoy this one. Get into it. It is a little bit repetitive to a degree, but it's not bad. The album's title track, Ghostlights, I'm not overly impressed. I'm not. I'm not overly impressed with it. It's all right, I guess. Then you get into Draconian Love. Okay, Draconian Love, I swear to God, I would have thought was a hymn cover if I didn't know the hymn catalog better. Totally sounds right out of their playbook. Completely and totally. Really like the song though. Really like the song. Really works for me, and it's probably one of the more memorable songs on the album. It just has a great kind of vibe to it. Master of Pendulum follows that up, which isn't bad. Then we get into Isle of Evermore, and I really like Isle of Evermore on here. The duetting and the harmonizing on the vocals and whatnot is really, really good. It has a very ethereal, almost kind of vibe to it. Really kind of get into it. But it's kind of also like the last song on the album that I'm really, really into. Babylon Vampires, I don't think of it if the album's not playing. Lucifer is not bad when it's playing. It's okay, but it doesn't do much for me. Unchain the Light, same thing. It's not bad, but it really doesn't do much for me. And then the album finishes with A Restless Heart and Obsidian Skies. And that one, it closes out the album decently enough, but and because of the story, that's the only reason it closes out the album decently enough. If there wasn't a narrative in here, if there wasn't a story going on, if it wasn't a concept going on, Isle of Evermore would have been so much better to close the album out on. The whole way around, I'm still sticking with Lost in Space is my favorite Avantasia album. It's the only one that I have really, truly kind of enjoyed and gotten into and really enjoyed the music side of it more. Uh, Lost in Space, I said, has a lot more of a rock side. I I don't want to even call this orchestra metal. I don't want to call this symphonic metal. I don't want to call it operatic metal because this is more like a basic kind of concept album to me. Like it doesn't have a lot of the, aside from a track here or a track there, it doesn't have a lot of that vibe and feel that you get out of a lot of the other ones. This one, honestly, this would be more appropriate for a stage production. Phantom of the Opera. That's where I'm going to go with this. Phantom of the Opera is a good example of where, to me, this album leans. You can have Phantom of the Opera with a real heavy kind of rock bass to it, but or a metally vibe and bass to it. But at the end of the day, it's not what it is. And that's kind of how I feel about Ghostlights. Ghostlights very much is, a lot of ways I'll say it's love metal, but that's it. There's something about this one that doesn't have the same get up and grab you as some of the previous albums. Like The Mystery of Time, and as I've already mentioned, Lost in Space, which is still my favorite so far. Those were pretty solid, good albums the whole way through. Even going back to The Scarecrow, I thought The Scarecrow was pretty solid the whole way through as well, and had more standout than this did. To me, this just kind of just doesn't have what I'm looking for. Not what I'd hope for. But anyways, I'm going to stop rambling there. The next review should be Moonglow. It'll definitely be the next review for Avantasia, as it's the last one in the back catalog I got to cover. So I'm hoping that Moonglow makes up for this one and has me a little more interested back in Avantasia again. Let me know what you think, folks. Am I being too hard on this album? That's what the comment section is for. Drop a line down below. Let me know. On your way down there, you'll probably see a couple links. Check those out as well. Like button, subscribe button, bell for notifications. If you can hit those, that'd be great. Otherwise, folks, peace, love, take care.